What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 12th podcast, 12th Epic 7 podcast. And today I have with me Once in Love, Wombo, and Tiber, as always. And so I'll let them introduce themselves and we'll get started. So start with Once in Love, then we'll go Wombo, then we'll go Tiber.
Hi, my name's Once in Love. I stream Epic 7 usually once a week. I mainly stream Summoners War, but I've been playing both games for a long time. I've been playing Epic 7 since the start. I am no longer in a good guild. Well, top guild. I guess good guild is kind of demeaning to my current guild. But I'm coming back because I really want to make a big push in Arena. I've been doing pretty well in the last couple of weeks defense-wise, so I think it's worth going for like a high legend push and seeing if I can get it next season.
And... All right. Well. Oh.
Yeah. No. Go
Is it me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm Wombo. I also used to stream Epic 7, although I got a new puppy recently, so that I recently switched to becoming a full-time dad. Kinda.
Oh my God.
I used to stream FGO back in the day, and I used to be an ex-life officer with Tiber until we both got washed up, and now we both are in brand new guild, Naruhodo, which we both took from the depths of rank nothing to rank 48.
Yeah, the guild is still level 13.
The guild is still level 13. Yes,
we insta pushed top 50, but on accident.
Are you allowed to say I have a new puppy and then not show everybody? That seems kind of toxic.
All right. I'll get a picture. Hang on, I'll find a picture.
Cam on.
Oh hell no. Yeah, my in-game name is Erish197344. If you know what that means, respect. And yeah. Oh, I'm also that 200k CP Sturmia guy from Reddit. If you know that.
Yep. His original in-game username was not Erish, though. It was Fukimi, right?
Yes.
Like if that people recognize that name more. But yeah. Most people,
put a picture of the puppy in a chat or our chat if you want to put that up. I don't know.
I'll link it.
Yeah.
Oh, Poggies. One second. I can just post it in the chat.
Oh yeah. Sounds like a rerolled account name. Nah, I assure you it's not.
And
I got you. I posted it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's a cute puppy.
And
yeah. He's 9 weeks old now, actually.
You didn't mention this, but Wombo was actually my roommate.
Oh yeah, how did I forget that?
That is a fun fact. Yeah.
Wait, really?
We were roommates.
In college.
Junior year.
Yeah,
that's pretty
junior
cool.
Year, yeah. I was the one that ruined his life by saying, "Hey, there's this new game called Epic 7."
And I never forgave him for it.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. But yeah, hi guys, I'm Tiber. I mostly play Exos Heroes now, Pog U, but it's always a pleasure to be with good friends.
Are you paying in Exos Heroes?
No.
Don't trust what he says.
Not much.
Okay, so there's a famous saying from another podcast that if you spend less than $50,000 a year, you're free to play. Are you free to play?
Oh, I'm definitely free to play.
All right, cool. Good to know. We're all free to play here.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very expensive, but I don't know. I like it. Anyway, but it's good to be back as always and talk about some fun new developments with good old friends.
For sure. All right, so let's just get started here. First topic. This one, I don't know if this one will go on for too long, but pretty much thoughts on Celine and granted her artifact. So I think in the chat out of here, I think all of us have pulled for Celine now. I forgot.
Oh, I've pulled. I have not gotten yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so we've all gotten Celine except for Tiber.
Yeah.
And
I got my Celine in 4 pulls.
I got my Celine and my artifact in 5 pulls.
Okay.
I'm not that lucky.
Gotta one up you.
To be fair though, I think unless you get a plus 30 artifact, her artifact actually sucks.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that actually because Chat was talking about that. Aside from that, also if Sophie is listening or hears this, screw her. Apparently she got super lucky.
True.
Triple S
True.
Celine. I
Yeah, she
can't.
got a
maybe.
triple S Celine in like under 2 pities or something.
Yeah.
Dang, that's insane. That's insane. Especially since it's attack percentage.
Yeah, I
know,
pity
right?
you.
Wait,
That's
what?
good, man.
Rip. All right,
Rip.
so Faust and Celine, yeah. What are your thoughts? I don't think you guys have really used her yet. You guys are still building her, and I mean, Tiber doesn't have her, but like, yeah. What are your thoughts regarding what do you think about her damage? Right, we saw her multipliers. Multipliers were pretty good, and whatnot there.
Ada. That's all I have to say.
Her damage output is good, and like the build potential is good, but I think it really depends on like where you want to use her. Because if you're using her in arena defense for anti-cleave, you have to be mindful of like she's like still able to be Bassard and those things. So you have to. I just don't see where she like fits into people's defenses that she becomes this like strong enough unit where she entirely stops people from just targeting you. Right? It's like,
Right.
do you want to get Bassard or do you want to get cleaved? And then whichever one you put in the other one for, you're still gonna get the other one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a good segue into the artifact too. Like, it seems like it synergizes extremely well on paper with her kit, with a 100% chance only at max limit break though, to increase attack on the same condition that activates her S2 on the free hit on the supportive unit on the enemy side. The downside to that is, first of all, you depend on a max limit break for it to even be worth using. In competitive play and PvP, it's a lot about reliability, oftentimes. And even way back in the day, there's a very similar character in terms of the S2 kit in Soul. And a lot of us early on back in, it's been a long time since the first collab.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But a lot of us, like Sledley, for example, that's the first name that comes to mind. Like, we had debated about it for quite some time. Rest in peace. But we thought about high damage souls on Guild War defense just to kill the Oxlots, get it out of the box. We'll lose the round, but at least we get the unit gone. And then, like, an hour into the discussion, we're just like, wait a minute. If you try to put all your eggs in one basket, give this unit this specific job, don't you just die to everything else?
And the other answer is there are people who have 3 Oxlots like me.
Okay, you just made a lot of viewers very salty.
Well, the thing is, like, there are certain units where you don't need investment in the unit. You just need to
Right.
have an extra version of the unit, and Oxlots is perfect for that. So, like, when you're trying to build a Guild Wars counter for Oxlots, you literally just need to outlive the Oxlot setup.
Exactly. And it's like there's so much counterplay, right? Just like bring something else so that defensively, I don't know, it feels like there's so many workarounds, but like, she still hits really hard and she's a waifu. So
Yeah, I think one of the things is if we're to compare it with other artifacts, like for example, Alexa's basket, like reliability wise, Alexa's is not that reliable. It procs sometimes, but the proc chance is pretty low compared to having, if we actually have a maxed limit broken one for Celine's artifact, 100% guaranteed. But the thing is, Alexa's gives you greater attack buff, so you take the RNG there because it's the only artifact that gives you the greater, which increases your damage output like by such a significant amount. But if this is just attack buff, I was talking to a few people about this, running something like a Moonlight Dreamblade, or if you actually have a strong Violet Talisman, it's like consistent, just consistent damage that you can use otherwise, that might just be better and helps you a little bit more overall in that situation. The downside with Moonlight Dreamblade is whether or not someone wants to attack you. And then if they do decide, then at least you get that proc chance there.
She doesn't really punish AoE or anything. Like, it's not like she punishes AoE in the same way that, like, Alencia gets AoE'd and then gets Mind's Eye, or like Violet gets AoE'd and then counters when you miss.
Yeah, so it's like, she has a really specific
not as good
goal.
as people think.
I think she's kind of like similar to like ML Haste, I would say, in that sort of like niche role. Like ML Haste is really good at countering that specific thing when you bring it into it, but if you use him anywhere else, he doesn't do that much. But I feel like that's at least how I see her as. Like, if I'm gonna build her up, it's for RTA only, specifically if I see people going like Oxlot C-Dom, straight up trying to cleave me, then I'm like, okay, it's either a force ban for you, or you're gonna get someone on your team nuked the moment you try Oxlot boost. So that makes it possible in RTA specifically that if I see someone go Oxlot C-Dom into me, I know for a fact I don't have to ban either of those right away. I can pick Celine. They're forced to ban my Celine. I either guarantee my 4 picks, or if they don't ban Celine, I guarantee a nuke on them now. So it's like another one of those situations with ML Haste, where in RTA, if you draft a really tanky team, then you either force a ban on ML Haste, or like you can bring your 4 guaranteed units into there.
What about it just like a core damage dealer? And like, since Wombo's known for the big damage gear, like, what do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
So
Go for it.
she has lifesteal in her S3, lifesteal in her S3, which gives her some extra support there, and it cleanses all debuffs, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. I noticed that, it seemed like it was popping up pretty often, but I wasn't sure how much damage exactly, or how much HP to put on her so she could survive, specific things. And I was trying to use her on arena offense, and I felt like I couldn't use her at all because there's so few teams that, had situations where she could really pop off. I just use something else. Like, if I see a DJ Bassar, for example, then I would just outspeed it in the first place. I wouldn't need to bring Celine. DN sets up anti-crit, so that kind of already cucks her somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think in RTA, like you said, she might actually have a use as like another core green damage dealer with some inherent RNG and some self-sustain. Plus, the fact that she has good multis allows you to sacrifice a bit more of that damage for more bulk.
Mm-hmm.
But she has really low base defense, so that balances that out a bit.
I know Tyler was thinking of building her like a bruiser. Well, not really bruiserish, but like to like make her fast with not like super high damage output, but to give her a bit of like HP and defense, right?
Yeah, just have enough pressure. I want her to get her skill 3 off, and then the goal is to get her to skill 2 at least twice in a match, right? So to do that, then she has to get 2 turns. So that's why I'm thinking RNL, speed set, 210 speed. So 210 speed runs it after my Charles, after my DN, and after like all my strippers and the defense break setup. So it would be fine to run her in that position. Plus I could run her like right after like a Falcon or Clary or something. But basically the goal for me is to like see how many times I can make her rotate from her skill 2 usage to get it again, and then just rotate with the 50% evasion. Even if you proc RNL, like you're not going to shrug off the evasion buff that you have, and you should be able to protect her. I don't think I'm going to pick her in like YOLO DPS, no protection or anything like that. But if it doesn't work out like that, then it's just going to be like people cleave. I pick Care on Celine. Because like it's good against CDOM too. Like CDOM skill 3, so you one shot somebody.
Yeah.
So
although I think for F Litica, do you guys think, since she sets up skill null?
Yeah,
I mean, you'd have to speed tune it properly, but
I think Flitica does kind of like counter her in that sense. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, if I ever use her in RTA, it's more like if someone, like, I mean, decent amount of people pick Oxlots in RTA for cleaving. So if they end up picking like, let's say, a combo of like Cerise Oxlots or Flitica Oxlots, then that means I know for a fact I can ban out the Flitica or the Cerise, and I can leave the Oxlots in there, because then that forces them now to either ban my Celine or to let Celine through, which gives me that one like that cleave combo, or sorry, the one shot capability there. So I think that's why I feel like she's a bit of she's strong in like that niche environment of what she's supposed to do. I think the only other time you can even use her in offense is is if you're using her against like Elena comps. I think like that's the only thing you can run her against in offense, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize. I completely forgot that Elena's S2 counts as a proc for her S2.
Yeah, that's like the only thing I think that will that'll show for that. But aside from
I
that,
just don't. It seems like such a small amount of people that you're going to run it with, where it
Yeah.
actually is effective enough that it's not worth it. It's not worth the slot, you know.
yeah, that's like that's the worst part. It's like if I were to run her for that, then I have other units I'd run for cleave against those teams, or other damage dealers against those teams, or some other combo. What's it called? I guess one thing is like, do you guys feel like she's any use in Guild Wars defense? Because like, if you stick her in there, yeah, it makes it harder for people to Oxlot Judge Kisei you, but then it kind of enables people just, oh, maybe I can just auto SSB this team now, or something
Free
else.
crowd bait,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
crowd
Like
bait.
I mean, I've seen people theorycraft like Basar, Celine, Arby, or something like that,
Mhm.
and I don't know.
Isn't Charles just scarier in that same spot?
Possibly like being able to like have the Elbrus and the Smash combo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, and the strip punish as well, and the
Yeah.
guaranteed attack buff is really good.
Mm-hmm. New says if she gave herself a 100% CR push with her S2 attack, you guys think she'd be in better spot or too broken?
She'd be
Ooh.
insane.
That-
She'd
that
be
would
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
be insane.
she'd be really.
She would
Like-
be. She would be one of the top.
'Cause then that
three
means
non.
That's
LD
super
units in the
punishing
game.
if you do like a super slow build with damage, you let her nuke, and then she gets her CR boost to skill 3. I think that might be like that's like guaranteed you're killing like 1 or 2 people. in
Your
that sense,
enemy,
like-
your opponent can't run like supports or healer, or like they can't use their skills because
Yeah,
they
like-
just.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Any
Any
sort
good way to word it, yeah.
any sort of support unit is gonna be like, do I heal? Do I
Well,
immunity?
so the thing with that is
It's
with
all
her, if you were to do that, Wind Rider would be this insane artifact on her.
Oh
Because
yeah.
what happens is she skill 2s, you get a turn, you skill 3 somebody, you self cleanse on the skill 3, you nuke them, and then you get stealth and attack buff for your next turn. So like it's just insane. And then if you run RNL, for example, and you get an extra turn, your passive's reset already. So then
Yeah.
you just nuke another unit. It's like she just becomes this insane snowballing unit if that happens, and that's really scary.
Yeah, I think that might a little bit. I feel like she's good at where she is right now until people test her. Like, I feel like the main thing is that a lot of times when these units come out is that people just need to take a little bit while to find out where you have to set their gear at. Right now, from what I can see, like there's some decently high gear requirements. Like there's a few friends I've seen that are gonna try running her at 200 speed with 4K attack and around 250, 260 crit damage. Speed immunity.
So people are building her like Arby basically.
Yeah, a
but
lot of people are
immunity.
building.
It's an RB, Sarmia, Yufin, all of them. Similar
Yeah.
builds, yeah.
And then like, like those things hit very hard apparently from what I know. I'll be testing her similarly, but it's just possibly sometimes a high gear requirement. Otherwise, maybe we'll find out in a little bit future when people use her. Like maybe she'll be really gone on a different set, lifesteal, bruiser set, and whatnot. Like, I don't know, it'll take a little while. She did just come out, so we'll have to wait and see for that. Once more and more people test.
I think the thing for me at least with Celine is that Celine is good. She's stronger than your average unit.
Mhm.
And because she's niche, she excels at one job, like maybe 1 or 2 jobs, maybe 3, you could argue. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have units that excel at like 3 jobs or like 1 or 2 jobs, right? They don't have to be good for everything. No unit has to be good for, actually, it's probably better that we don't have units that are good for everything, right? We want units that are fairly balanced. What the hell? As you guys can see, Tiber is showing us what Celine does to him. She's good for 1 extra thing that I didn't mention at first. My apologies. It seems she has 1 extra job.
Is that
Taking care of the man with the deep voice?
is that the gank by the young by the young Tiber mom?
Tiber's mom just S2'd him.
Blink.
That's a 4-man abyssal. That's a 4-man abyssal right there. We've lost him. It's over. There's no recovery. It's a 4-man abyssal, full dizzy stun. All debuffs are up. It's over.
Okay, well, we'll continue on for now, but unexpected.
Sorry. Like I was saying, I think that it's fine that she's good at one or two things, because the more units we have that are like insane at everything, like a Charles or an Arby or a Bassar, it's just like the game becomes more and more frustrating for people. It's nice to have like more niche counter picks that are fun to use and also good, right? If you have a niche counter pick that's not fun, that's like really fun but not that good, then it's just a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
It's okay to give us these like fluff units in between things.
Yeah.
Also, when they give us unit previews, it's always biased, right? They showed a unit performing in like the perfect situation, and it might be that later on some new situation arises that they also function really well and that we weren't aware of. I'm trying to think of like a good example right now off the top of my head, but
Blood Moon Haste with
Blood Moon Haste,
Asthmatic.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. It's like,
This is
so
weird
I don't know.
mechanics that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you're definitely right on. You're definitely right about that. Like, what was it called? I think in the video we saw it blink onto Spectre Tenebria, I think. So, yeah, like those are optimal situations. Like, oh, great! Like, if that ever happens, like that, great situation, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely. Well, more and more of us will be testing. Like, I mean, Tyler's building it. I'll be building it. I think you said you need the Mola investment, right, Wombo? Like, you're missing.
Yeah,
some
I
of
need
that?
a Mola. I only have a +6. I'm out of molas right now, so
Yeah.
I have Mullis for +15, so I'll let you know.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna +15, but I'm gonna max out skill 2 and skill 3. But we'll see what happens there.
I'm definitely curious about the RNL. That's actually a good idea because I'm starting to feel almost like Sid, kind of, where Sid was like Green Sid back in the day. He would like turn cycle RNL and S3.
Would it be as good as Green Sid turn cycling? Like,
No, it wouldn't be as good, but
like, I think
It depends on what you consider to be good, because their jobs I think are different. Green Sid is a snowball machine where like once you roll, you just keep killing people, right?
Yeah.
With Celine, what happens is if you RNL, you've reset your skill 2 passive, so it's a defensive pressure setup instead. Is my mic doing the thing again?
Yeah, it's doing the thing again. Rip.
Also brings you closer to your next heal if you need it.
Yeah, like I think the fact like it's an interesting kit because she has a heal, so like I guess it possibly enables like a fast sort of bruiser set with that, but I don't know like if you can rotate enough turns or like with Arnell, like if that'll give you enough help there, because I mean she's 3 turn cooldown is pretty fast there, I would say.
Yeah, it's very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean aside from that, like I hate to agree that I like her artifact, and even though 75% is not low, I think like reliability wise, like if you don't proc it, then it kind of sucks. And then the fact is it's also very niche in that aspect that you're only proccing it with the blink. So I think like consistency wise, you can't really use it in like other situations aside from when you're using the blink there. So you're not getting anything out of it by using your skill 3, not benefiting your skill 3 or your skill 1 in any sort of way there. Is it 1 turn attack buff or is it 2 turns?
It's 1 turn.
1 turn,
so
right?
it's,
yeah.
So it's like, also if you're using it on offense, you tend to bring like an attack buffer, which just completely negates the point most of the time of even having that artifact there.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Is it the same?
Yeah,
it's
still
the same.
Static again.
It's such a frustrating Discord issue. It's nowhere else. It's literally just Discord.
Yeah, it's not just you. Last time it happened to Arcadin too in Discord. So.
You know how I fix my mic every time it goes haywire? I literally just slap it as hard as I can, and it just works. That's my view.
I don't think it's his mic though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's not my mic. It's literally not my mic, because it sounds fine in stream always. It's literally only a Discord issue, because I can take calls. I can take calls on like Google Hangout and stuff, and this never happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it does that. Well, no worries. I'm not lying, it works. Yeah, I used to do that with my mic too. I used to slap my mic until
All right, testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome back.
There we go. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I used to slap my mic too until I slapped it so hard to the point where somehow the cable's disconnected. Well, the cables got pulled out of the soldering. I had to resolder it.
Nice.
That was weird. Yeah.
Omega Lol. Oh, you got. I'm reading the chat now. That's funny.
Yeah.
Man,
Tyler, where are your pants?
what are you talking about?
He's wearing pants. It's just shorts.
Yeah,
Come on, bro. I
shorts.
at least he's not like me where I just never wear pants. What? What do you mean?
Pepe Land. Yeah, they're basketball shorts. What Big Boner said? Yeah, 100%.
So we'll wait for once to come back. Hopefully he gets his mic fixed there. But man, yeah, Discord's been having issues here and there sometimes, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Mm-hmm.
He had to fix his dead mic on stream. Is why. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, at the one time when I slapped it, I had to. I literally had no mic. I just
Weird again.
resoldered.
I think
it
I might-
on stream.
I might be running the same issue as you, where I slapped it so hard I'm slapping the freaking wires out of the solder. Well,
Yeah, it starts happening.
Hello,
eventually.
I'm back. It works now.
Yes.
Welcome. Well, there we
excellent.
go. Let's go.
Hog.
I hate that Discord. Yeah, Discord's so stupid in that sense. All right. Well, that's it for Celine. Let's move on. I don't know how many of you guys are gonna be trampoling for him, or sorry, did I say her? I mean him.
Her?
Him.
No,
him.
you can believe whatever you want.
Okay. So
Whatever you want.
what are you guys' thoughts on Remnant Violet and like I guess who's going for him and or are any one of you guys guaranteed Remnant Violet?
I'm gonna pull him in 5 polls again.
Yeah, I believe you.
Okay. Well, I am okay. I'll wait for that.
I bought Mystic packs 4 times ever, like 4 $100 Mystic packs ever, and I think I've pulled 8 or 7 MLs from Mystics. Like rates are good. It's gonna happen. Believe
That's
it's
pretty
gonna
lucky.
happen.
God dang. Well, I'm at 200 since I got
Oh,
ML
my.
Hayes, so I'm I'm
Kicked over
praying
you.
to God I get lucky here. But,
I'm
I'm
at
at
like
200 as well. Since I got Rail.
150. Oh, right.
oh,
Poggy.
you went for, right.
Yeah, I got a Rail Pug. After 3 Purguses.
Actually,
Yeah.
good transition. That's one of the questions people ask a lot, right? Do they go for Ruel or do they go for Remnant Violet? So let's hear your thoughts on that, guys. Yeah, what do you think?
I think Rail 100% for me.
Yeah.
Because she's already like established as like one of the strongest. Yeah, waifu. Very high pitched lolly voice in JP. And
What?
I mean it's true.
Sorry.
And she's like one of the most established dominant,
Tiber reinstalling.
RTA units.
Yeah,
She carries. She's a try again reset button for you.
yeah,
and
like,
she's just so good.
like we know for a fact that everyone uses her, like, and how strong she can be by seeing her right when the recent tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think one of the things to consider with Ruel is it really depends on like your playstyle. If you want to win all the time, then you go D Corvus, Ruel. You just get those units, right? You want to win all the time in like Guild Wars and Arena and shit like that. If you want to have fun and you want to like try out these other units, there's nothing wrong with going for stuff like ML Violet because his kill potential is there, right? He's not like a bad unit. He's just not the best unit.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really fun, and like I'm always a big fan of self-sufficient DPS units that can set up for themselves and do amazing, very consistent, very reliable damage. Because he has that 50% defense ignore on the skill 3. He sets up his own attack buff. It plays very similarly to Surmia, which is one of Wombo's favorite units and one of my favorite units.
Yep.
Big Surmia fans.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, do I think he's game changing? Not really. No. But is he good? Yes. So it's just a matter of personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Should we change the topic to why we should pull for Ruel and not Remnant Violent? Because that's what it sounds like right now.
Oh, okay.
Fine. So some Remnant Violet talk. Okay. So Remnant Violet, like we said, he's self-sufficient. He's a good shoe-in, like similar to how LQC was theory crafted before she came out. We also thought like, her kit's very bloated. She's got a lot going for her. But at the end of the day, she always has something to fall back on. It's in that she is sort of bruiserish, DPS-ish. She has some sort of self-survivability in her S2 passive And she has a S3 confirmable amount of damage, which is great. Violet sounds a lot more gimmicky on paper, with this whole evasion stuff, like introducing two characters, both with, evasion, being thieves, sort of like got a lot of gears turning in people's heads for quite some time. But I don't know, it just feels hard to pull off. Because,
Mhm.
we go back to the cleave example in Guild Wars, for example, right?
Mhm.
Like, let's say you just try to onslaught Judge Kisei. Even through a miss, you're going to deal an appreciable amount of damage. Like, Wombo and I theory crafts with each other a lot. And I think he worked it out to like 8K total damage.
Yeah, and if you have a 4.3k attack, Judge Kisei 300 crit damage, which is like somewhere around what good Judge Kiseis are at, I think.
Standard, yeah.
You deal 7.5k on a double miss.
Okay,
So
yeah, double
1k.
miss, yeah.
Oh no, double miss to 1k defense ML Violet.
Which is
Already
No,
kinda
no
that
night
easy.
artifacts, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, no damage mitigation.
Right, and like we also have this conversation in place where, like, if you do put the damage mitigation, let's just use FCC as an example. You have these shields, you have Aureus, you don't have to stack that much health on your MO Violet, so he can hit harder.
Mhm.
At that point, though, you just say, well, how much extra threat do you have on your defense, right? Can I just Surmia you? Can I just Falcon O'Cleary you? A lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah, and so much stuff comes into conversation.
Mhm.
Alternatively to that, then wouldn't the perspective for crafting the defense be, okay, well, what is Violet's damage output like on an elite balance build? And then it's like, okay, well, I don't need, if it, like, theoretically, let's say it hits like 20k, right? It's like, okay, well, realistically, you don't need that to hit 20k. So you scale it back, and then you figure out like what other substats you can run in, whether it's health, defense, speed, etc. Right? So I think instead of looking at it from the perspective of like on offense, I can abuse it with this. It's like on defense, what's the max potential of this unit, and then where can you scale it in, right? Because when you're talking about like if you put Remnant Violent on defense and you're saying FCC, my first thought is why would you run FCC? Because you put two dark units and you just F my SSB it, right?
Exactly.
But theoretically, the knight that you'd pair with it would either be something that attack buffs, which you don't really need because he gets his own attack buff, like the Charles, or you'd run something like a Lilius because the Lilius gives you offensive capability and protection, right? The skill one into his skill one gives the hit down, which gives him higher evasion chance.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so much to think about there, but like, I don't know. Do I see him like tearing up the meta? Admittedly, I don't really. At least right now, it feels like, at least in a Guild Wars setting, like when you go in, the fate of the battle is probably going to be decided within the first few turns. So like, I don't feel like he'll have much of a chance to shine and scale. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on him in RTA? Because I don't know. I don't really see him being used that much in Arena.
I think the thing I'm most curious about is like, because the thing is like the one thing I can compare his skill 3 is to Cermia. Same amount of penetration, but his base scalings is 0.15 higher. Because Cermia is 1.15 when I saw it, and his is 1.3 base. Cermia has a soul burn, which makes it higher when she soul burns, but he has pretty high scalings, to be honest. I'm surprised with having the 50% penetration there with that. So, like, I don't know if I can't say like he'll be that good against like bruiser teams yet, but granted, also for the fact I guess is like his evasion isn't like Violet's normal Violet, where it's like it's a passive evasion once he does something. It's something that you can strip, which has its own cons there. So like, I feel like at least the unit right now isn't overpowered, but he's like decently strong in that sense. But I feel like most people are going to be building him more as a bruiser, possibly with like a lifesteal set. If your 88 gear set, a bit set rolled well, I think can make him a really solid like bruiser unit. I feel like instead, because you probably don't need him to like nuke a tanky unit. It's rather he'll do a bit of damage, and then try to rotate your turns as fast as possible, get focus, so that you can punish them when they attack you at certain points. Similar to lies to like SSB.
There's another unit that also penetrates defense by 50%, LQC.
Yeah.
And her multi is 1.5, but she has lower offensive stats.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the hardest thing about using Remnant Violet is that if you want to use him and you want to use him well, you have to triple S him. Well, because you need the 17% crit chance imprint, right? Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
like severely lacking on the strength that other units get. Right? Like other units have attack imprint, self imprint, stuff like that. If you have the Remnant Violet, then you're gonna have 17% bonus crit on what you already have, which gives you a lot of room to either run a lot of damage, or you can choose to run Bruisery, or you can go like counter tanky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 3 max crit chance rolls basically that you could use elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's kind
If
of
I
similar.
stop using push to talk, will it stop staticking, or is it still there?
Are you not push to talk right now?
I'm not on push to talk right now.
No, I still hear the
No, it's still
static.
there.
God damn it! I don't know why it just keeps coming back.
Yeah,
It
I
just
don't
keeps
know.
coming back.
I don't know why it always does that. I personally feel like I'd go for a speed set just for like I guess steady sake. Like unless you have a really good counter set, I don't think most people shouldn't be going for a counter set unless you have some really good ones because like you don't want him to be too slow. Like you don't want him to be 0 speed. You probably want him to have a good amount of speed. Otherwise, he's not gonna get his turn rotation. I think for most people, people will be building him as a speed set first, and then you can farm Banshee for that like counter set. But what do you guys think?
Well, his S3 is on
Alright,
a
I'm back.
7-turn
Welcome
cooldown. So is speed like? I mean, obviously, I don't think you need to build him hyper speed.
Mm-hmm.
I do think some speed is nice so that he gets off that S3 to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the chance for the random S3 afterwards.
Yeah.
But with a 7-turn cooldown, the only S3s you can get after the initial one are probably going to be only the random ones.
Mm-hmm. There's such a long
So,
cooldown there. Because
Yeah.
like, I guess like the only issue with, I guess like when I say there's only so many people that will have a good enough counter set. Because the thing is, I doubt you want him to be like a 0 speed person. I think even like 150 speed might be too slow. You probably want him like 180 ish.
Yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I would
some
say
sort of like 180 speed, and like to have 180 speed on a counter set while also maintaining good damage sets and whatnot. I think that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna be very hard for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because right side you're gonna be running like crit damage, attack percent, speed. So you're gonna have to find those attack subs elsewhere.
Yeah, I definitely know that. That's for sure. I mean, we'll have to wait to see what happens when he comes out. So we'll see then. 'Cause, I mean, who gets it and who can build it, I guess, are two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so we'll talk about that more next time when he comes out, and then we'll move on to the next thing here. All right.
I want him to be good, but I don't think he's gonna be that good. Like I really, really, really want him to be good, but I don't think it's gonna be good.
I don't know. The Vilgid like Photoshop stuff that kind of turned me off. If I'm
Whoa.
being perfectly
Whoa.
honest,
Oh
Okay.
my god.
like
Um,
show some originality,
I think he'll be really annoying in RTA at the very least.
yeah, like a strong, possibly a good unit to if your team isn't like tanky enough to like survive that initial hit, whatnot. Like Tenbird says, like if you build him 220 plus speed, like a speed set, and you stamp a unit off the bat, probably one of the scariest things because with good damage stats, you can probably nuke a unit real quickly.
Yeah.
With that there.
Then it would be really similar to a speed set Sermia.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so recent balance patch thoughts. Like, well, I'm not gonna go over everything, but let's talk about a few units. Like, what do you guys feel like are key units that were really impacted during this recent balance patch?
ML Tywin.
yeah, I've been hearing a lot about ML Tywin.
No, ignore Wombo and his reverse horror.
Like-
hey. I plus 15 them like after I saw those notes, okay?
Oh, we know.
That's how committed I was.
But yeah, like
Imagine not plus 15ing him beforehand. Disrespected.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, hey, I'll have you know, I plus
Look at
15
that
Pavel
glorious.
before, as soon as he was released, before we even knew he was going to be buffed.
All right, that's
This
just a
man-
yikes, dog.
This man plus 15. The Ascot first. It was his first plus 15.
What?
And then Kairon.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, you
Before all
plus
of
50.
this.
Wait, you
I
plus
have a plus
15
15
to
ass
Kairon.
card. I
No,
have
no, you plus 15 to Kairon?
no. I have a plus 13 K run
Oh, plus 13. My bad.
But why?
because
Then we have Pavel, and
he's
now we have
hot.
Tywin.
Has the -1 cooldown for skill 2 ever done anything for you?
No.
Damn, that's
No.
unfortunate. I'm
Usually
sorry to
they
hear
just
that.
die, so you know.
The confidence with which you just said no. No. No, and I stand by my decision.
Yeah.
But yes, to segue off of the last topic with a new evasion hero, a little bit like we had the exclusive equipment change right for a little bit. Destina,
Mhm.
10% damage, like a little bit S3, especially with Soulburn, hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
It hits really hard, and the EE itself when it came out was game changing because you don't have to run Oath Key at all. You've got it built into the EE, and now you can run Portrait, for example, right?
Yeah.
They just doubled down on that and
Yeah.
said, "No, we'll make it an 8. We'll add more damage." But typically, if you're using it just let's say to kill an Arbiter Vildred or in this Maid Chloe SSB comp, I don't think it changes anything structurally, but it's just a nice thing to have. You can put worse gear on her and move them elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah, it's like if it didn't guarantee it enough already, here's a guaranteed kill on Arbiter Vildreds or teams with only one threat unit and revive supports kind of thing.
That's why Spec T's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Spec T definitely survives that you can't target her and all that stuff. Emerald Tywin was, he definitely needed a buff, and he did get his buff there. I mean, I don't have him, unfortunately, otherwise probably build him. Does anyone else here have him aside from Wombo? No? Okay. So,
Wow.
do you have yours
I'm
molded
disappointed
already?
in all of you. Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's hear your thoughts on that. And, have you used him? What situations have you used him? And how well do you feel like he is for you?
So, initially before he had his buff, I tried doing what's that? Who had it
Tatsuni?
Omega counter? Who? Yeah, yeah.
Tatsuni.
With the Omega counter set
Mhm.
ML Taiwan, but I didn't really use it that much then. After his buff came out, I kind of started thinking, since it just requires anybody on your team to be debuffed for him to dispel one, you probably want to build him faster so that way you can actually start abusing that mechanic to constantly cleanse stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
So I swapped him to a speed sense, so he's on speed crit now instead. And I decided I wouldn't go with effectiveness because I run my effectiveness. I run my provoke machine on my FCC instead because FCC has a guaranteed provoke, basically, right? And Taiwan's is a 75% chance, so I didn't decide to do that. I built him bruiserish basically. Okay. I gave him 27k HP, 260 crit damage, and no effectiveness. So I think that he functions really well actually as this, bruisery build. Tiebreak I don't know if he was there, but I full inted with him in my debut against. I ran ML Taiwan Elena and it didn't go well because I got double crown proc on me or something. But in RTA he's been really good because now that he also stuns on his S3. He also constantly removes souls. So your opponent, has a reduced capacity to be able to soul burn anything. I run mine on Elbrus as well, so he's also there always constantly, either taking away souls or provoking. And the stun on S3 makes it so that they have to either run immunity or something to protect them from that. And you don't necessarily need to stun anybody. It's just the threat of it being there.
Yeah. And especially if what's it called, if you have you're facing Spectre Tenebria or something like that where the units aren't super tanky but you can't get to them, being able to soul burn and have that rotate is pretty big, I think.
Yeah, it's an AoE stun on a 1-turn cooldown, which is actually nuts now that I think about it. Yeah, Tempered's build equal a very nuts ML Taiwan as well, so he probably also is well aware of just how good he can be. I think he's definitely way stronger than what he used to be, and I think he's like a very solid contender for like the bruiser spot in your team in your draft.
Mm. Yeah,
'Cause
like
his
Timber's been. I hate to say it, but Timber's been like gushing. Hi, Spofi, by the way.
Timberb.
Timber's been gushing
Timber.
about like ML Tywin. Like, apparently it's been really good and like it's working really well for him. He's won. I think last time I talked to him, he says he's won his like 9 out of 9 RTA matches or something like that using ML Tywin every time he's
Mhm.
picked in that situation. So like, and like the thing is like, granted, you probably want some pretty good gear on him. Like both you and Timber, from what I'm hearing, have really well built ML Tywins. So it's like
Mhm.
you can't give him like just like, oh, I'm gonna build him with half-ass gear, like some level 70, some level 85s. Like you do kind of have to min-max him, but he does nuke pretty hard on his skill 1 and whatnot. So, yeah.
Plus, if you're getting like cleaved, it's kind of funny when he counterattacks, takes away his four parts of his soul, and then they realize
Mhm.
they can't sober anymore.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, now I can't
Oh.
sober in this next hit there, and
Yeah.
they're stuck with that.
Yeah.
So
I just wish he wasn't a knight. I feel like him being a knight makes him really, really overpowered.
Yeah.
I mean, the Elbrus proc is, I think, the scariest part. Like any sort of like dizzy AOE, someone AOE, or even like just if Elbrus does proc, being able to steal souls on a counter like with Elbrus, I think is such a big thing because like you don't realize it, but eventually like your souls just start disappearing. It's just like,
Yeah.
like
Where'd they go?
I can't soul burn Ruel now to like heal, or I can't soul burn my Dizzy as skill 2, skill 3. Or sorry, skill 3, skill 2. I can't soul burn C-Dom. I can't soul burn like. There's so many things I feel like that can kind of like screw you over with his kit when that Elbrus procs.
He's definitely starting to get towards that overloaded kit kind of that you guys were talking about earlier, where
Mhm.
he's starting to do multiple things simultaneously.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like, granted, like he's not so overpowered where it's like for example, no cooldown on skill 2, right? Then like
Yeah.
So the one thing is like, if you can somehow draft and for some reason the opponent in RTA, let's say, doesn't doesn't ban him, or the opponent doesn't ban your debuffers, and they allow you to somehow bring in like Bassar, Dizzy, Tenebria, all 3 against him, and he's the only one that can cleanse for you, then okay, in that situation he's gonna get overloaded. But like that's the thing, right? You have to draft accordingly. Make sure your opponent doesn't get that many debuffs. If it's just like an SSB on that team, you can probably survive with that. So it's like another certain unit for like one specific not one specific, but it helps counter like part of the draft.
And like a personal combo I like drafting a lot is ML Taiwan with Elena, because they kind of combo off of each other, protecting each other.
Yeah.
You like the stacking cleanse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you run counter set on the Elena too?
Yep.
That makes sense. That's really annoying. The constant cleansing is frustrating.
You lose out on the heals because I run Tome kind of as like a semi Bassar Athletica deterrent, I guess, but you do lose out on the healing in that case. But I find that usually it's like not that important.
It helps you survive enough, I think, especially if you're running into Bassar or something. That he has AOE's to help you heal and whatnot, and he doesn't have unhealable. So like, I think like Elena is a pretty good pick. I need to run a better counter set on mine, but yeah, too many things to invest in.
yeah.
So for people in chat, if you have Emil Tywin, do be building him. I do think he's a really good unit now. Faced him a few times here and there, and I think a lot of people, higher level players, are also using him a lot now that have him. Another unit that is really good, I think, is Tempest Cern with her buff.
I didn't realize she cleansed. I was like, why does everyone think she's so good? And then someone's like, she full cleanses herself on skill 2. I was like, that's actually insane.
Yeah. The thing is the fact that her skill kit in itself, if you run her with Fallen Cecilia, it becomes even stronger in that sense of giving her that effective HP to be higher. And then being able to, if your HP is below 70%, but you have the shield, you still can't kill her right away. But it still procs her passive, it seems like, where she's able to spell all the buffs and grants herself stealth. So you try AoE her, or whatnot, and then she loses that HP, or you try debuff her, she'll cleanse herself, go in stealth, and you can't target her now, kind of thing. It's like, it brings you into a bind of like, how do you deal with her sometimes? But,
Yeah, I fought one in RTA and it was really dumb. I only won because of freaking Rorel. I res my Kayron like 3 or 4 times before I actually finally killed her. But I think she is a lot like Mersa in some aspects, where she's like an anti-cleaver because she has a survivability and she can also cleanse, which Mersa can't. Although I guess Mersa just dodges it unless it's like dizzy.
Yeah.
But I've seen them on like lifesteal sets, and those are super annoying because they go down, they stealth, you can't hit them, and then they heal back up, and it's like you can't kill them.
Yeah, I think
So
that
her passive doesn't give her combat readiness, does it?
it does. Her
It
passive
does.
How much is it?
20 or
30%.
30th?
30%.
Is it every turn?
Yeah, every turn.
Mhm.
Once per turn.
Once per turn when she's below like what?
70% HP.
70%? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like that passive is so good in the sense that if someone debuffs and lowers her someone with damage, right? She cleanses, she stealths, and then she gets combat readiness to push her turn back up.
So you need to push her back or boost yourself in the same turn that you drop her to 70, right? So you need to like crowd skill to her, or you need to like use some sort of like self boosting push, like a Shuri or something.
Possibly like something that can kind of counter her push there in that sense, right? I think the worst part is like the fact that you can't kill her in one attack, like one shot. It makes it a lot harder for that, like to like you kind of have to plan things out now. It's not like, oh, I know she's squishy, but even though if you know she's squishy and she's gonna do damage, you still can't one shot her. You can't just like, oh, I'm just gonna Sermia one shot this girl. I'm gonna cleave this girl with like a nuke her with like a C-Dom or something, right? Like you know that you have to hit her twice at least to kill her, and if there's a Fallen Cecilia, even worse, it becomes 3 times now. You have to kill her more than that, which really kind of sucks her, I guess, in that sense. But
she kind of feels like the hero that what was it, Chaos Inquisitor, I think, that he was like kind of meant to be like that, but since he just had absolute garbage based stats, he just never made it there, really, I think.
Yeah, there's some people using Chaos Inquisitor here and there, but his damage output definitely I feel like is less, and also I mean Cern just kind of like, I guess we're talking about that like self-sustained kit. Like, it allows her to like self-sufficient, like it allows her to like make sure she gets out of trouble by herself and get her turn quickly by herself too there, which is I think really strong.
Yeah.
Aside from that, any other units that really stood out to you guys that buff wise you think were really
SSA is a lot better now. She's like actually usable.
It's still
she went from being a terrible unit to being an option.
Well, I mean, she had her uses briefly. A couple of Guild War metas ago, there was the rise of Acoli Lilius Violet, and SSA F Maya Sermia was a very commonly used comp against that. But I agree, like she's more of a support unit, more of a healer now that she can cleanse before the S3. It's great. The other unit that I think would be worth talking about would probably be like Acid's AI change.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big one in that sense of like it gives him the option to be run on defense. Same for Crowl, likewise, both those units now, their AI changes. Like, you can't light bait, you can't just run a Carmen and have the ACID go after Carmen, go after G-Pergus or something, unless they're the fastest unit on your team. So it makes it more difficult to cleave against the ACID now. And then also in the case that, let's say you decide to run a light bait by accident and you run a faster unit like a DN or something, a squishy DN, a decent good ACID proccing greater can very likely lower your DN super low and have someone clean up there.
And it'll be hard for you to manage the combat readiness throughout the game as it goes on too, because ACID has his own push-up, DN has a push-up, so like the turn order may change as you progress through the match, and you just might end up having a round where a key unit just insta dies.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest part.
Yeah, it's very, very strong.
I mean, I think it didn't change, I think, his anti-cleaving ability, because if he outsped you in the first place, you're kind of already cut because you also lose your souls. So if you're judged Kisei cleaving, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But against if they were trying to run slower comp, I definitely think at the very least it forces you to retune your units so that your healer or your tank is taking the brunt of the damage.
Yeah.
I actually did some testing with that last week, and it's actually easier for me to cleave with Judge Kisei into it now because it never hits my Judge Kisei. It always hits my Oxlots, so my Oxlots is way tankier on immunity.
Mm.
And so it just never dies. And then I don't need to soul burn my... I basically just don't soul burn my Sidon, and you win all the same.
But by the way, it's back again. Sorry.
That is a good point, though. That,
Yeah.
Tyler brought up.
Like,
I wouldn't know because I don't have Judge Keys.
there's not a lot of people that have like a decently fast Oxlots with tanky stats.
Hello?
Hello?
Is that better? Yes, no?
Moshi.
Nope, it's still there.
Not really.
I think I started noticing it also when you're like, it seems like your webcam started like get pixelated right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
So I'm not sure if it's like partly due
Could
to
be
like
internet.
or something too. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, let's continue for now. But I think one of the things for me is like for example, like I'll just say like my Oxalot is fast, but my Oxalot is not tanky, and he's no immunity. Like because I can probably put on my immunity now, but it's still kind of difficult because the thing is like that means you have to have rolled specific gear. For example, like your ring and your necklace both have to have been like either HP or defense main stats with the fast speed substats. So
And on the specific set instead of like running a broken set just for the high speed roll, stuff like that.
yeah,
But like it's still a functional change in that it becomes a lot more of a gear check. There's more that's added to the equation compared to before when it would just use F Maya, right? Use F Maya 5 head.
a little bit more for you to think about. Like it doesn't become just. It's not like an easy like bait out. Same thing with Crow, which I feel like both of these are really good for them. It's just like a small change that makes it a little bit more difficult for you to just brain dead like go through something. Like granted, it still kind of do that, but now it's like for in the past people would just Acades, right? The moment Crow's low, Acades invincibility yourself, boom, Crow does no damage. Now you can't. Now you're like, oh, well, Crow's low HP, I can't just do that right now.
It's like guess I'll die.
Yeah,
It's just like
It does help separate him from, I think, Akoli a bit more in their roles.
Yeah,
100%. Or a Ravi for that matter, stuff like that. Like it's just different. The ability to, not just have an straight answer for it,
yeah,
is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I mean, I'll probably leave that for the balance patch there.
Oh, there's one more.
Oh.
I know Pantry's going to appreciate this ML Rin.
Yes.
ML Rin's buff.
I forgot about her for a second.
Yeah, she stuns on her, was it S2?
Yeah, on her S2.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, I've run into once or twice without banning her. Like, it has become pretty, like, annoying in that sense.
I love you too.
Oh. I heard that ringing in my ears. Kappa Pride.
Kappa Pride.
Yeah, I think like ML Rin's like buff is warranted. Like it helps her be a little bit more usable. It gives her that sort of use in like RT and whatnot. Aside from being able to just steal buffs, she has a bit more utility now. Which is
yeah, she's a better lead, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're on RNL, you can get that. She can turn cycle and she can definitely like stun your like damage units really quickly or whatnot. If you're not running like certain teams for that, which is really good.
Yeah.
And she's a waifu.
Okay. Not my waifu, but Panshui's waifu.
You know what gets rid of that stun though? ML Tywin.
Oh, okay. I knew that one was coming.
Right.
I knew that was coming.
We know where Wampo's priorities are.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's mentioning in chat like there's a Fire Charlotte buff too. Like,
do you guys have Fire Charlotte? I actually don't have her, so I don't know.
No, I don't have her actually.
I have fed all of mine to LQC. Like, I don't know. Like, it always feels like in every gacha game, there's like that one black sheep, that just like they keep trying to tweak over and over and over and over and over, and it just hasn't worked. Anytime, like
it completely reworked her, and she
right?
still doesn't work.
I think before that it was buff.
Our previous attempts to buff buff Fire Charlotte have not worked. So in like an actual dev note, there was like, so we're gonna do an entire rework, but the rework failed, and then they had to give a recall.
Yeah.
And then they're buffing her again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's honestly
It's-
funny.
She's one of those units that just keeps getting worked on until she becomes viable, I guess, at this point. Because like, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have her, so I don't know how good she is. I think her damage is not bad, to be honest.
Mhm.
I don't think her damage is bad by any means. It's just other choices you have as a fire damage unit of being available and whatnot.
I think she's actually kind of close to becoming viable because initially when they reworked her, they made it so only her S3 always crit.
Yeah.
Which just introduced that weird scenario. It's like, okay, so
What do you build?
do
crit
I
or not?
build crit or not? Yeah, exactly. Now her S1 also triggers a crit if they're buffed.
Yeah.
Which I think is almost always the case, but she still needs something else to make her actually usable, I think.
Like,
and
it's because like in the way every game works, like even if a unit like on paper feels viable, and even if she might end up being good, even if you might want to use her in the future, if the things you have aren't completely outclassed by her, what motivation is there for you to invest so much like resource, time, investments into this unit?
Yeah.
If you have other things that do the job just fine.
Exactly.
While she, as like, I believe she's the highest attack height, which is it's incredibly high. It's higher than Charles. She deals a lot of damage with that natural bulk. But at the same time, why, right? Like, if you're going for this fire core and you have so many powerful units, Kayron, Lilius, like, if you
Melissa.
want to,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, Melissa, Servia, like these
High burst.
huge powerhouses. So it feels like this weird limbo, especially since we're just like, okay, with the time investment to get this next I-90 set for a new unit, with the Mola investments, I don't know. Like, it has to be. I agree. It has to be something else, something extra, for me to want to use her personally.
And like, I think News said something in chat, which is really true. Like, I don't think she's bad by any means now. Like, I've seen a few here and there, but it's also the fact that there's DN and crowd being so prevalent in the meta that it makes her feel like she's not as strong, possibly, because she's not like, it's not like she nukes super hard like a Sermia, or like being able to do like insane amount of damage like a Kayron AoE damage like him. But because of that, like Crow and DN like stop her even more in that sense if she can't just burst through the damage there between the shield, the anti-crit and whatnot there.
Are we talking about Spec T?
No, we're talking about
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Fire Charlotte?
Yeah.
Forehead.
Yeah.
Do you have her?
No. I have one. I haven't built her yet.
Okay, so two of us here don't have the unit,
The general consensus.
and two of us here don't have her built.
Yeah.
I think the reason she's not gonna get built is because like I don't think she's worth the Molas compared to like if
Exactly.
if I'm at the point where I no longer care about Guild Wars defense anymore, sure I'll build her and then I can use her in RTA. But like that's it. I'm never gonna use her in Guild Wars defense. I'm never gonna use her on Arena defense. She's just like another fun pick. She's kind of like Celine to me, except a little bit worse. She's a fun pick
Violet, yeah,
that works.
fun picks, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun pick that works. That's not as good as everything else, and just really isn't worth the Molas.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's for people who prefer a flashy playstyle as opposed to like a consistent one.
Fair.
I
Yeah.
guess.
They're playing off meta or playing just something different.
It's like the people who use things like Chloe or Kisei or Melissa and stuff like that. Like it's flashy and it's fun and it works sometimes, but it's not necessarily like the best investment you could make.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, from like an efficiency, how are you going to use your resources standpoint, for sure, 100%.
Fair enough. All right, so next topic here. I think a lot of people have talked about this. This was brought up in the official Epic 7 stream. Regardless, we don't know what's coming up. But just a bit of a talk about the current state of Mola Gores and what you guys think about that, and what might be some changes you think are good. I mean,
I have 0.
I mean, like we were just talking about this, right? Like a lot of the demotivation to build these new units, to branch out of what's these units that are always picked, or these units that are a staple for Guild Wars, or a
Mhm.
staple for climbing an arena. Like, there's not much versatility in what you can do with Molas because you require what, like Celine is 33. And
4 stars are 27, 5 stars are 33.
yeah, like just being a couple per week, like it, yes, it should be a premium currency, but also like it
It's
feels counterintuitive. Like they're trying to buff all these units, which is great. I love it. Like buffs, balances should always happen. But even when they do happen, we don't have the Mola to do anything about it. So it's just like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go about my day.
I think
So I
like
was-
thinking and talking about this a lot with like chat. Like I don't think the moles are like the worst part. It's more like I think it's a mix of like the rate of which new units come out, and them being like unique units and whatnot, along with buffs and stuff like that, all being put together. It makes more and more units you want to build, but you not having the resources to build it now. Because like the thing is,
exactly.
I do like the kind of uniqueness. I decide to build this one unit that someone might not decide to invest into, which is gonna work good here and there. And I know that very other little people will use it, which makes it cool in that sense. It's unique to a small amount of people. But that only goes so far when more and more units are getting pushed out now. When you don't have enough to make more and more unit to
So
invest.
I was kind of gonna save this for tomorrow because Car6 wanted to talk about it, but we'll talk about it here. You get 20 molas a month on average. You get 12. You get 3 per week for free, and then you get 4 from tower, and you get 2 from events and 2 from side stories in a month on average. So that's 20. If you buy the 2 packs, you get 18 more. It's 38 per month. So I am of the opinion that the amount of molas in the game are fine. And the reason that I am of that opinion is because I feel like the amount of molas allowing you to build more units is the only thing in the game that causes game diversity. Because outside of like gear, which is just everyone gets fucked anyways, everybody has the exact same units. Everybody has every unit in the game. And I find it really, really boring to always go into every match where everyone uses the exact same thing. I like playing against people who like Kurai, who picks different units and different things because those are the units that he chose to invest in. Those are the units that makes his account unique, and it's what makes it more fun for me to play against people like that. I have a very, very like strong standpoint on this against most people because I look at the game from the longevity standpoint of the game and more from the developer side and less from the player side. Right? I understand like more moles would be great. I could build more units. I could do more things in Guild Wars. I could do more things in RTA. But I also see that like with everything that people are asking for, if you added, let's say, like 1 molar reset per month, every unit would get built and everyone would just run out of things to do so fast. Like every unit would be built, every unit would be tested. Nobody would ever need to like, we would reach this point where everyone has exactly what's good molded and nothing else, like really fast in like another 3 or 4 months, right?
I've talked about that too with chat. Like that's actually really similar to what I've said. Is that in that case, what happens then is like you can essentially remove molas if everyone's gonna have the same units built, and it's just gonna be a power. It's just gonna be like a war between gear. And it's just who has the better gear kind of thing.
I think there's value in taking an investment into a unit and actually like, if you really want to build this unit, understand the unit, build the unit.
Although we are speaking from like a specific population standpoint because not everyone in the game, has every unit.
Yeah,
Everyone in the game has the ability
whales.
to get every unit.
If they, yeah.
I mean,
Perhaps.
another
Well, no, because of the way the game system works, you can literally save to get whatever you want if you want it, right? Because that's how pity works. They literally added Mystic Pity, so that is an option for you, right? A new unit comes out, you can actually save to get it.
I think like another issue though is like it's hard for you to evaluate like on a personal level evaluate how well a unit will perform for you if you don't have them. Like I don't know like how to best convey this, but like
Well,
I guess
that's okay. That I disagree with because the idea of not knowing how well a unit will do with or without molas is stupid. If a unit gets 40% damage, you literally damage calc it out and add 40%. It's a direct 40%. Right? That doesn't make sense. People argue that with me all the time, but that one actually just doesn't make sense. You know exactly how well a unit will do with molas because that's how the molas work. They are like an exact direct multiplication of your end damage after all the damage mitigation.
Yeah, I was just trying to play devil's advocate. Sorry, guys. I
I
tried.
think that's just I love when people play the devil's advocate, but I don't think that that's a good argument.
I
I think the better argument is people who are like, well, not everyone can obtain everything. Yeah, I get not everyone can obtain everything, but the option to obtain everything is like you can just get what you want.
Well, the option for you to obtain what you want, but like you can't do that infinite times. You have to like pick and choose which banners you go for, and that in itself, from a pure resource, pure free to play mentality, does limit resources, 100%.
I
But
think that's
And
what.
and that's one population,
Mhm.
but there's also another completely different population who, like, let's say you have this dolphin or less spending or even free to play player who has this natural drive to want to be competitive, and let's say they really want to make this unit, but they know in order to keep up, in order to compete with the big dogs, they have to just keep molaing what is meta, and that in itself um, confines things. Because to flip the argument, if I know, like even whales, we're responsible spenders. Like Hongi a long time ago made a guide on Reddit early on in the game
Mhm.
with like gold management and gear management. Like, stop unequipping your heroes. You're wasting enough golds to plus 15 a new thing. Like, that was really good advice.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much stuff where like it's about maximizing the efficiency because a lot of people can't afford to have stuff in excess to spend. So for these people who are like, I really want to build Melissa, I really want to build Vivian, I really want to do this stuff, but I have a Vilgid and I have to plus 15 him. I have Emil Tywin and I'm going to plus 15 him. I'm going to plus 15 all of these units. And that restricts them to the exact same problem that you described, in that these people, because they want to use their molas intelligently, are therefore only going to mola the things that are good. And that confines them to the meta yet again. So
I think
like,
it's a
okay, the,
twofold
the counter
thing.
argument for the meta discussion is that we look at it from such a small perspective, right? We look at it as a perspective of the extremely efficient people who watch Twitch to understand how to like play the game super meta, super efficiently, win all the time,
Mhm.
right? We are actually a very small population of the game.
Mhm.
We are an extremely small population of the game. We are the people who play at the top end. We are the people who, a lot of us are pretty big whales. And I think that that also skews the perspective on this, right? There are a lot of people who play the game just for fun. They don't really complain too much about that. And you know the issues? They don't have gear. They don't have gold. They don't have all the other resources in the game too.
Mhm.
There are a lot of things. I really do think, and I don't disagree with you. I don't entirely disagree. I think your points are fine. I think they're reasonable. I just personally don't think that that's something that's going to allow the game to have super crazy longevity. I think the better
100%.
longevity for the game is how about we make units that don't require plus 15 to actually do well.
100%. And I read
We have tons of units in the game already that don't. Like almost all the
Fire,
supports are usually
K-Rock.
plus 7 to plus 12.
Fire Icon is
Right?
for sure is an example.
Ruel.
And like
What
Big
about Ruel?
Boner,
Ruel doesn't need max molas either.
yeah, Eska, Big Boner made a comment similar to, because all three of us come from Summoners War, right? Like, and like I ran into this issue like later on in the game where I like, well, this is towards the end of when I started quitting, but like excess Devamon, right? Like at a certain point in the game, it's gonna be, especially since they didn't have banners, it became proportionally more difficult to get a new unit that I did not already own. So the Devamon just kept stockpiling up because you kept getting dupes from blessings, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
So in the long run, eventually, if they slow the pace, especially, like you will run out of things to mola in the very long run. So I understand that point as well. But like,
And
I don't know.
I think that's one thing I'm every time this topic comes back up, that's like one thing that I'm most afraid of is when it gets to a point when, you know, it pushes to a point where people are saying we need more molas, but I hate to say it, but certain people I know, the reasoning why is they want more molas is they want to just make sure they have their fun units and the meta units all molad. So they just want essentially everything they want to be molad. And when that happens to be the case, what are you going to work on afterwards? Like, so everything is going to be molad along with all the new units that come out. Like they want to have that available for them. A lot of people want that a lot of times. Like, I want all the meta units molad. I want all the new units molad. And I want my all my waifus molad. And it becomes a point like, I mean, I guess like I can understand that, like where people want that, but then it becomes more of like you're playing like a
It's a collector.
you're playing a collector game more than anything.
Yeah,
And like
100%.
I think right now we have a really good balance between good animations for collectors. If you like the character, you pull for it, which some of my friends, free to play friends, play like. And then other people, competitive PvP, they'll set the meta. And to say pull one from New likes to say, right, guides and whatnot, right? People will follow those, but there are certain people in the game who set the meta. Those are the people who will go out and Mola new units. They'll test new units, and other people will follow that. And
100%.
if all the Molas were available for everyone there, you wouldn't. I guess one thing is, people who will always follow, no matter what.
I think the biggest issue with the argument is that the majority of people who argue that we need more Molas always say this one specific thing. They always say, I want one Mola reset per month.
Yeah, Mola reset.
I've heard that a lot.
Absolutely.
That's a terrible
absurd.
idea.
Anyone who actually thinks that we need a single Mola unit to be reset per month is out of their fucking mind. Absolutely out of their mind. If they gave us one extra Mola a week, it would still be fine and it would still be balanced. But the argument that always gets pushed and pressed is we need to be able to refund our units. And refunding the units is the issue that has come with the game. The first reset fucked the game. And then every time you think about introducing another reset, things become worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. They've mitigated your usage of needing Molas by limiting the amount, right? They've brought it down from what it used to be. It used to be 48. Now it's 33 for a 5-star and 27 for a 4-star. I think they could bring down the 4-star one a little bit. I think keeping the NAV 5 one at like 33, or maybe just dropping it to 27 and keeping 27 to 22 would be okay. Or just implement 5 extra Molas a month, maybe 4 extra Molas a month.
And that's one of the things that I've also talked about is getting an extra Mola is also like RTA wise. There's some people who aren't really incentivized.
Incentivized.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're correct.
Oh my gosh, my English. Yeah. To do RTA right now, a lot of people are just like, I get to gold. I'll stick it out there. Where, part of the thing is, I really do want to see is some sort of like similar arena. Each week, as long as you do a certain amount of RTA, you'll get a certain amount of currency. You can't spend all that currency, but it'll allow you to buy one Mola, an extra Mola a week now in RTA. So that'll push more people to do RTA. You'll get your Molas from there, and I guess that kind of helps with that, because especially with the web event for RTA gone now, I could definitely see less people doing RTA. Granted, some people did yield in the past. Just
that was me. I was
the
fastest hand in the West. All right, fastest hand in the West. I had a 30% win rate in bronze.
Yeah,
it's like
if you win in RTA, you get a certain amount of currency, right? So you can't just yield it, and then maybe you have to I don't know, win one battle per every few days. I don't think that's a lot. I don't think that's asking for a lot.
I mean, can't you just add, RTA to the list of dailies?
Yeah, or I don't know, something like that.
Just something something to incentivize people to play that content.
Because everyone that's actually playing in that, or not everyone, sorry.
How about you make it
a lot of people that play now are just trying to maintain their rank.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I think exactly. You could start by making RTA actually competitive. Having an unlimited amount of wings doesn't make it competitive at all.
Very true.
That's the worst part. Is I
have no incentive to push a rank because I know that on the last 3 days I can just instantly climb to champion and then AFK.
I think that's the
or 3 days before.
Good and bad part is there is a certain amount of lacking content for certain people, and RTA enables that, gives them that sort of content that they need. And then at the same time, there becomes that aspect where sometimes it's not fully based on skill or whatnot. It's just, for some people, it's how many games can you spam and you can get to a certain rank kind of thing. So the only part it's competitive is really just in high legend or legend, where you're pushing for those 100 spots. Aside from that, as long as you have a decent account, everyone can push up to champion.
It's just frustrating because unless I'm if I want to play competitive, okay, first of all, dropping 100 points after 3 days is absolutely ridiculous too. But if I want to play a match, if I want to play a match versus someone who's good, I have to climb back again to 2200. Hopefully pull someone that's good. Otherwise I'm just pulling master players over and over and over. And it's just it's not fun. There's no competitive aspect to that. You end up just playing. Oh, my mic did the thing again. What a classic.
Yeah.
What an absolute classic.
Yeah.
I really hate Discord right now.
Yeah.
I mean, also like,
I complain to do the same thing.
aren't
It's
you able
okay.
to climb right now with like a sub 50% win rate or something?
Yeah. Oh, there was someone in
Yeah.
champion
That's
with
a problem. That's a big problem.
what was I saw a screenshot of someone in champion and they're at like 44% win rate or something like that. They had more losses than they had wins. Yeah, 44%. And I was just like, huh?
They need to fix the system just in general. But like, sort of to go back to the topic, like I definitely agree. Like just a Molagora per week, through RTA would be a great idea. And sort of to like harken back to the topic we were on, to sort of like support and expound upon what Tyler introduced with the Mola reset. And that's like harkens back to a point similar to what Ark had talked about last time, right? The sort of the precedence that Smilegate has set with the ML nerfs and then the
refunds and the
selector,
resets. Yeah.
was an absolute nightmare. And a lot of us, like back then even had the foresight. We're just like, uh-oh, this is a big problem. This is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And
That's close
it
enough.
just devalued a lot and set a bad precedent, which is why, moving forward, I think that's where people latched on to the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, granted, like new said something in chat, which is like, yeah, it's just season 1. I mean, that's the law of it. Like, there's still always, what's it called? Improvements that can be made and whatnot. It's just like, test out the system, see how we like it, and then next season we'll make changes and whatnot to make it better. Which
100%,
I'm fine with that, but
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good feel for how RT is right now, I think. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Epic 7, because they did say something regarding Molagoras. We'll see what they do with that, and then we'll see about that. I'll probably have another podcast then, and then we'll see how that may or may not change everything then, and then we'll talk about that again as it comes. And then last thing we'll really kind of just touch base on is regarding the new units. Like, what do you guys feel like is going to be the case with the evasion meta with these 2 new evasion units coming out?
Like, I don't like, for those who weren't like playing the game back in the day, like Ascard, Kayron, Violet, like that was a thing way early on. Admittedly, I think a lot of what supported that movement way early on in the game is the fact that there just weren't really that many units out there at the time. Like the Pokedex wasn't very fleshed out, and those thieves, they were the new units, and then Cermia came out and wrecked, slapped Violet right out real quick.
Yeah, even through a miss, he's dead.
100%
kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of like it sort of made him irrelevant for a time. Then he came back after Dizzy came in, which made Cermia more risky, etc., etc. I don't think that these thieves in particular will like give that same vibe as we saw in like late 2018, early 2019. Personally, I don't see it like sticking and this being a new era of the thief. Personally, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Is like, I feel like evasion is pretty annoying as it is for certain people. But I hate to say there's 2 things. Evasion is annoying because if you can't hit them, you can't land like skill resets, you can't land what's it called, certain debuffs sometimes. But then on the other hand,
because artifacts ignore evasion, so it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
so that's really the other thing is we have Abyssal Crown in the shop right now. So it's like,
no. You guys are too small brain. You use Golden Cocoa Cookie.
Okay.
5% team hit chance. All right, you guys don't know the big brain.
Sorry, we're all slow. Yeah, we're not 200 IQ like you. All right, guys. Yeah, you hear that? Tiber has suggested you all to build your Golden Cocoa Cookie, and I guess it'll help. Guarantee hit evasion.
Right, please don't ever do that.
But yeah, it's like there's like
What's
there's
the
the two
joke?
aspects there that are, I feel like, really taking I hate to say this, I guess, like possibly a hard toll on RTA players. It's like I've heard frustration both ways. There's one hand is if you're playing a tank comp, now you have the evasions and whatnot where you can't land certain things, it makes it harder to kill them, and they can draw it out. And by that time, they're going to scale. So you have the condom teams, you have the certain evasion units that make it a little bit annoying, and then you have the Abyssal Crown procs that can screw you over. So like, I feel like there's just, right now there's like there's the three things shifting there, but I don't know how heavy evasion is going to impact because, I mean, Celine being given an evasion buff herself, the only way to really get rid of that is Violin strip at that point, right? Like you can't strip on other normal means. I think like if you have like, I think the highest Celine can get to with all the other evasion stuff stacked is probably like what, 95% evasion. So like you're almost guaranteed not stripping her on normal means except for on Violin. I think that's running what, Celine
85, I think.
Celine is 35? No, she gets the evasion buff 50%.
No, Celine's 50,
50?
MLDB's another 20, Asgard's another 15.
But Violet Talisman is 30%, right, at max?
Oh, I guess you could run, yeah.
So yeah, so like 50, yeah, 95. Yeah. So that, I think that's like the worst part is like, like I don't know how that's going to affect that. So that's the other thing, like that I was actually telling a friend about this, is a lot of people talked about this, is like, is it additive or is it multiplicative? Because
I think I don't think it would be multiplicative of the base. I think it would be separate instance if it's not additive.
Yeah, like, and that's like, that's something I was talking to my friends about, and like, I do think that it's thanks for the reminder. We can ask. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. I'd like to get some confirmation for that new, because like a lot of people I've talked to thinks like it is possibly additive, because if you ever have a miss debuff on a character, as far as some people have tested, you're never landing. You're always going to be guaranteed miss on the opposite element, from what at least some people have noticed. But I've always thought at first it was separate checks until a few people brought that up. And then, now I'm not too sure. So like, it would be good to get some confirmation to find out exactly how that works. Just so, certain mechanics in the game, I feel like it would be nice to like find out exactly how it works, so people can have some, this is how it works. Officially, we know this for a fact. This is how you counter it, work against that, whatnot. Way Vision feels like it is additive. Yeah, sometimes at the same time, I don't know. Like I just see a MRSA with MLDB. I feel like it's already 100%. But it's not even additive.
It
It's
is
just
100%.
Yeah, it's scaled either way somehow. But yeah. So I don't know.
I'd like to see a unit release that has a skill that says can't miss, instead of all these like other weird ones like has advantage. Like a can't miss skill would be much cooler in my opinion.
For sure.
Blue Tywin, I never miss. But he still misses.
What about Watcher Shuri? Watcher Shuri skill 3 yells out, "I'll never miss."
Oh yeah, that's true.
I never miss.
I think this is how it works. Any unit that has a line regarding "I will never miss" needs to make sure they never. Actually, that might be too OP for Watcher Shuri.
Oh God.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
He already has glasses on. No, come on.
Yeah, I think it's a cool mechanic.
He needs the new prescription.
Dizzy has that mechanic where she's guaranteed a miss, but her debuffs land, like kind of thing, like the way it works. She's guaranteed miss. Like it'd be nice to see like an opposite end where a unit, as Once in Love said, is like they will never miss, guaranteed or whatnot, kind of thing.
Hyper prediction, ML Sermia. Just watch.
Okay.
ML Crown. We have is like what, Wanda
in 2021. Let's go.
2021. All right. Well, that'd be nice. ML Sermia.
Still playing.
I mean, Wanda is like the only.
Yeah, I think Wanda's the closest thing that kind of has that kind of skill kit where she's almost guaranteed to miss against certain units. Or like
not miss?
Not sorry. Oh my gosh, my brain is already kind of like. Anyways, yeah, like not miss against certain units.
Yeah, but then again, it's also Wanda.
Yeah.
Like I think during preseason,
What do you mean?
between season 1 and season 2 of Guild Wars back in life, like Colas hard tested Wanda.
He did hard test me too.
What? Excuse me, what?
Colas,
Say
if
that
you're out there, will you marry me?
Okay, you do know
Mine
Colas
is a
watches
very
all.
soft response.
Okay,
Wait,
Colas
wait a
watches
minute.
all my podcasts, by the way. So yeah, he'll
I know.
Monka.
respond to
I'm
me.
waiting.
A quick digression. Like he's the kind of person you want, like in a zombie apocalypse. All right, Just
All right.
hunting dogs, cooking. Anyway, like, and he straight into nonstop with Wanda. It's just like that same worry of like, are her stats good enough to support the kid?
I think one of the things is like, I mean, okay, you probably know I've been using Wanda a lot here and there. I like her looks. I like her skill kit. It's cool. She's a cool unit. But like, man, every time I use her, she dies, but I still win somehow. She gets her skill 3 off,
Are you
and she
telling me that
dies.
you're basically YDCB debuting units?
Yeah.
Except
Take it
even-
into Guild Wars to show people and just lose the unit instantly?
But somehow she's the good luck charm. All right.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think she's really cool, but maybe like, I don't put my best gear on her, but I'm pretty sure if I put like my best gear, I made her really strong there, I think she would be okay still against certain specific instances because of the way her kit is. Having a 2-turn stun is huge. Being able to work with the hit chance and whatnot is huge. And don't worry about Tyler. I think we'll be ending off soon. So yeah.
I give up.
Yeah,
Self-doubt
Discord's just
also.
stupid. But yeah.
Next time, I'm just calling your cell phone.
Okay, yeah, I'll just put my cell phone right here on my mic, and yeah, easy. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how the invasion works once more and more of these units come out, and then we'll see then. But
Yeah.
as always, thank you guys for joining me. This is a bit of a longer podcast to be honest, I realize, than usual. Technical difficulties,
Had
long
some
discussions.
chaos.
Yeah, chaos. Yeah.
Whoops.
The gank by Tiber Mum, the gank by
The
Spofi.
crotch cam.
Yeah, the crotch cam.
The broken microphone.
The broken Discord, you mean?
Discord sucks. Everything's going.
Well,
Yeah.
how much did you guys see? You guys?
I mean, yeah.
Someone saw like.
I saw everything.
Oh, okay, you know what?
All I know is that that's going on your OnlyFans.
Oh wait a minute. Wait, can I monetize that?
No,
Gabe,
no,
it's
no,
too
no,
late.
no, no.
It's too
Sorry,
late.
I'm kidding.
sorry. It's
Oh
my
my
monitor.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
What?
Tiber, you're gonna be interviewing for med school, and your adcom's gonna pull this out and be like, "What is this?"
And you're gonna say that was my audition. He's gonna say, "Oh, you're in.
Oh, you're.
You're
Got it. You're in."
Let me end this real quick for the YouTube. But as always, appreciate you guys joining me on the podcast. Thank you, Once in Love. Thank you, Wombo. Thank you, Tiber. You can find these guys on the respective Twitch channels. I know Once in Love has Twitch, YouTube channel. Wombo doesn't stream apparently as much. I thought he still streamed, but apparently he's become a.
It's just the dog.
It's just a dog.
Yeah, he's
I'll
become
stream more.
he's become a dad recently, so hopefully we'll see him stream here and there. And then Tiber is
Not a streamer yet.
yet.
Pepe hands. Keck W.
And,
Soon.
I'll go.
and yeah, aside from that, appreciate you guys joining me for the podcast today. Thank you for that.
Yep.
I'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.